Good afternoon, everybody. It's 12:41 on the clock. That's the Hangman and the Ace of Cups. And I just have a quick, inspiring Metatron read for you today. I'm going to roll the die for you guys as well. This is the main read for the Metatron read that's on the table in front of you, but I've also clarified it with the Pocket Tarot from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. So the underlying energies are here. This is the bottom of the deck. The first card out is here, and it goes across and down all the way to here, and then these three, and then these three. That's the order of the cards. And then here is all the clarifiers from the Wild Unknown Tarot. And so here it goes. Let's go ahead and roll the dice first. That one wanted to hide here. Hold on. Today is the 15th of April, so it's officially the tax day, even though taxes aren't due till Monday. There could be an underlying energy today, plus we have the full moon coming in tomorrow. So if you're feeling stressed about anything, just ride it out, till after the full moon, okay, and let it go. There may be something to release here. I believe it's in Libra. Is that correct? All right, so for the twin flames here today, we have the 69, which is Cancer energy, but this is also the 69 of the Ace of Pentacles, which is the offer of time, money, and energy, perhaps, or perhaps an offer of a new life. We also have the Moon, which is also Cancer. So a lot of Cancer energies with this full moon coming up here. Perhaps there's going to be some emoting here. We also have the 10 of Libra, which I just brought up. It's the Libra full moon. Okay, so again, this is the Wheel of Fortune in October as well. But basically it's Cancer and Libra and this full moon that's coming up tomorrow and the emotions that will come up with it. As my mailman is coming up to the door right now, there might be a delivery for you, maybe an emotional one. And the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, a turn for the better. So maybe you're going to be receiving some good news. Okay, so today's the 15 of the Devil, the shadow, and the day adds up to the 25/7, which is the King of Wands. So that's the King of Wands, or the Knight of Wands rather, is like a kickstart of energy, like lighting a fire under your butt to get going. Very passionate about things, perhaps working out or being passionate about someone, or just really motivated to get things done. But it's a Knight, so it's about movement. And then the Devil, which has to do with the shadow side of things. So what's coming up regarding what you are passionate about that perhaps you want to let go of in this full moon. So I started this Metatron read, it was at 9:09. And the bottom of the deck was the detached energy, detached from drama, and the 37, which is the King of Cups. And the first card out was the twin flame. No, that wasn't the first card out. The first card out was communication. So speak up and be heard. So the way this went, because I started clarifying this read today, the underlying energies were karma, evolution. The karma is the twin flames, it's the 28. The evolution is the Page of Cups. And detaching from drama is the King of Cups. So there may be some dealings with a King of Cups and Page of Cups. So that could be a father and child. Could be a mother and child too, if you have more masculine emotional tendencies in that way. And that's a scam likely. So maybe that's coming up for you for some reason. Okay. I'm thinking that might not be a scam, but that's all right. I'll have to get back to them. So, in the cards that came up today, what did we have? I didn't write them out the way I usually do. I know we had earth and water come up, and air came up too, but no fire. So the three elements, but not fire. And the colors that came up were white, yellow, and silver, and lilac. So it's very high vibe energy there. And then the yellow of the solar plexus, your confidence, shining your light. The underlying energies they were at 9:48 where I started here. But first I went through the underlying energies as I was clarifying. The electromagnetic grid with the Emperor, the King of Wands, and the Nine of Wands, which all can be the same person, along with the Hanging Man reversed, which in this deck is the Batman reversed, right? So that could be the Dark Knight as well. The Emperor with their son, who could be the Wounded Warrior, the King of Wands Wounded Warrior, who is awakening here as the Bat reversed, awakened, but in his little cocoon, like the caterpillar coming into the butterfly state, which came up in another card. The evolution of the Page of Cups, perhaps into that King of Cups, in that transformation of the innocence of the baby, but the baby heart of confusion, frustration, and pain as the Page of Cups, and then becoming the King of Cups of unconditional love, detaching from drama with the Chariot, which is a horse in this deck, along with the Nine of Cups, which is self-satisfaction, and the Eight of Wands, which is the energetic exchange or arrows of love, along with that Ace of Pentacles, which came up here in the dice of that big offer of a new life or time, money, and effort. And that could be money back as well on your taxes. And also the same Chariot with the horse on it came out when I was shuffling, so it's a very powerful energy of moving forward. As the King of Cups, which could be Cancer energy as well with the Chariot, perhaps speaking to children with the King of Cups and the Page of Cups, self-satisfied, or perhaps sad, or maybe you're missing your children, and now in an energetic exchange, you're offering that time, money, and energy to the Eight of Pentacles and the spider web, or perhaps those things that you align with, right? What is your, that's like the lion in their den, the spider in their web is standing in their territory and just waiting to see what comes in and sticks, what sticks with them, what resonates. So this is very much about offering your energy to what really resonates with you. What kind of work do you love to do? And also talking about perhaps, being off or aligning with doing exactly what you love to do and feeling spiritually aligned. And as I got up today, I was already awake, but then something hit my window in my bedroom. So I got up to look and then opened the curtains, and there were two robins there. So I was worried that one of them got hurt, but they were fine. But then a little while later, when I went outside to ground, the two of those robins were still out on the front lawn frolicking together. They were so cute, because usually you see them in more than two. There's more a bunch of robins. But there was just two of them hanging out together. They were very cute. And there's this energy of recovering from some kind of illness or injury, or perhaps post-surgery, or feeling left out from something and recovering from that. Some kind of practical recovery here. Perhaps in a split or destined codependency, and then Libra and Capricorn were coming up right there. And perhaps standing up for, this could be the masculine or feminine, standing up for their flame and themselves at the same time. And that was at 9:38 to 9:39, going on to the next, which is the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and the Hermit, which could be both. So then we start with the communication about speaking up and being heard, along with the Eight of Cups of walking away within from injustice, with the passion of the Knight of Wands, along with the sun up right here, the big sunshine. It's been beautiful here for 3 days in a row. The Eight of Swords, which is imprisonment, though, or anxiety about the Four of Wands, which is reversed here. So perhaps about some instability or a move or a visit, and that could be not, it's like even when the sun's out, still feeling imprisoned when you're not in union, or when you're not home, or when you're feeling instability, the anxiety pops up, even if the sun is out. But this also can be exposing of that feeling of imprisonment or anxiety when there's instability. And what is that instability for you particularly? But this is also the energy where the caterpillar in the cocoon, it literally looks like the butterfly. It's about to fly. So the last part of the transformation's here. And that is the instability, right? Because they're still in a fragile state. And then the 51 of the King of Swords came up, along with the white card of innocence and purity, and the Page of Cups reversed of being vulnerable in that cocoon state, about to fly into the butterfly, and the Two of Cups of that one-to-one connection. So as above, so below is coming up with self-love, spiritual love, new love. in the wake-up call of alignment and boundaries here, as the underlying energy was at the 48, which is the walking away within, again, of that 8 of Cups. On the electromagnetic grid here, which can be that spider web, right, taking, standing your ground, like, not needing to defend yourself, but certainly standing or confirming your position without being defensive. The electromagnetic grid here of the twin flames untying those knots still, with father and son issues here with the crucifixion of Jesus, right, and Jesus and God. So the father and son issues of God and Jesus, and the wounded warrior awakening at night in the chrysalis, or feeling very vulnerable. And again, the Garden of Gethsemane is coming up here, and also Mary Magdalene comes up here as the wounded warrior, having to go through this with him on the cross. So here's the chrysalis of the awakening, or getting off the cross, the caterpillar about to become the butterfly or the bat, to free self from controlling factors in their lives, right, like Pilate, right, and Herod in Jesus' case, and the birthing of a new heart of innocence of the King of Cups, perhaps missing their babies or feeling their children's pain, right, God feeling their children's pain and frustrations and their confusion. To look up King of Cups with unconditional love of the Chariot, and the mercurial energy here, the winged messenger. And Mercury was coming up yesterday, I think it was. The mercurial messenger energy is coming up like the wind, getting your wish, self-satisfaction in the energetic exchange or arrows of love, in the offering of time, money, and effort into what you love to do the most, and your children, what makes you feel like a child again, which often your children do. So at 9:53 is the Hermit and the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth, the mailman, the knight in shining armor coming in, rushing in with a message or delivery. Communicate and speak. You are the shell, the message in the bottle. And again, Mercury's coming up here. And so I was guided to look up Mercury, and I'm Virgo, so I'm ruled by Mercury. But so I, of course, felt called to look up Mercury, and it was a beautiful message about Mercury. So Mercury's abbreviation, of course, is H and G, capital H, lowercase g, and it's the number 80, which is my destiny number, which was really cool coming up. And it sits between gold of AU and thallium, which is TI, which for me is the code for source in my code line. So, of course, I had to look up thallium too, and of course, OU is gold, so I looked up gold. Not for the normal definitions, because it usually just says gold and golden, but there are some negative definitions for gold as well. Mercury is also referred to as quicksilver or azoth, the AZOTH in alchemy, and also hydragyrum, which I didn't look up. Let me look up that now while I'm telling you the other stuff. And liveliness, but also volatility comes up with Mercury. It's also an herb, and also something that means all good, but it also can mean poison, oak and ivy. And of course, you all know that Mercury can be toxic. So let me just put this in really quick to see if it comes up, because water's in there. That's why I wanted to look it up. So hydragyrum. Hydragyrum. There it is. It's actually Hydra R and then gyrum. And what does it say? So it just brings up Mercury. See if it has another word. Nope, just talks about Mercury, but I'll break it down later actually. So gyrum comes up. I wanted to look that up for you. Gyrum comes from gyrus, Gyrus, which means circle. There you go. So it's also coming up as water circle, which makes sense because there's other issues around that came up. So remember that the other word for Mercury comes up as the water circle, or the water circuit, or water ring. The place where horses are trained as well. Horse is important because that came up with Mercury as well. Okay, really interesting. Okay. So, the symbol for Mercury, of course, is the circle with the cross below it and the little halo on the top. The planetary symbol that's closest to the sun, notice the sun and the father. Mercury's closest to the sun. The Roman god of speed with winged sandals. And then, of course, Godspeed comes up with Hermes as well. The messenger, the lover's go-between, right? He's the messenger between the lovers. And MERC means, it can mean mercenary, mark, or wild celery, actually, or reprisal or retaliation there. But Mer, of course, is the sea. It's the ocean, and it has amazing energies along with cure. Cure is to cure. With the sea, the cure of the sea, the ocean. And again, the come full circle with the water and the circle of the other word. So there's a lot of good definitions for Mer, which some of them are apple, the sea, the female horse or the mare. So maybe sometimes she's a horse, sometimes she's an ass, or maybe she's the back part of the two-man horse, right? Also, it's the sky and the heaven. Me, we, to me. It's also one and I. I mean, there's a lot of significant definitions regarding Mer, besides the sea, the apple, and the apple tree. It's also a repeat unit, or in other words, a twin. So here's the way Mercury came up in its definition. And then you have the Y at the end with Mer, cure, and then the Y at the end, which is the 0 point field, right, at the Y in the road. And of course, cure is the word literally for heart in French. So this is the definition for Mercury. One female horse or mule, heads, the talking head of Mr. Ed, or the mule, tails, or Mrs. Ed, which came up in my recent picture. So again, part talking head and part ass, or purger. What does the butt do? It purges out what you no longer need in your body. So it has a very good function, actually. The dear beloved heart, and me-we, the heart of the sea and the bird, the apple, I am, heaven, who dares to be one of a set or unit at the Y in the road. She sows and snows, she rains and pours at 1022, the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool's Journey. And she's the hero, warrior, badass, who sends me. She is myrrh, which could be bitter, and the cure, the grapes not quite ripe. And can you believe she's seen as an inferior watchdog and bitter dried up sap, foaming at the mouth, when in actuality, she cleans, she runs, she flows, and is the 11th hour, salivating the moment before, the anticipation of the bewitching hour, God's messenger. Be careful what you wish for. Remember your healer and your postman, because they like to receive as well, right? Because they're always giving and delivering. So Mrs. Ed, or the extra dimensionals, Mrs. Ed may be seen as the horse's ass, or the tail, or the butt of the joke, but she is the divine feminine within the divine masculine, inspiring him to go on. She sends me. So then I looked up thallium, the TI, which for me is a symbol of source. And thallium's the 81, which in the numerology deck, the divine triangle, is the coming full circle. It's the end of karma around the world. Or it's kind of like you're released from karma at age 81. But it also comes from the word thellos, or green branch. So something very green, natural. The radiation spectra that detects gamma radiation and is used in manufacturing glasses. It's a catalyst during organic reactions. It's also used it's a very difficult to detect poison. Apparently murderers use this for poisoning, and this came from cdc.gov. The electronic devices, fiber optics, camera lenses, switches, closures, semiconductor industry use this, and also noahchemicals.com is coming up here as well. And it's one of these said that it was the most toxic metal on Earth, thallium. So Mercury literally sits between gold and the most toxic poison on Earth of metal. And thallium-201 is also a radiopharmaceutical agent as well as a scan, an agent or scan used to diagnose cardiovascular disease, but also parathyroid hyperactivity and tumor diagnosis. So since Mercury sits between gold, which, by the way, one of gold's definitions is sterility, dry and frail, barren, to castrate, and unfruitful is a definition for gold. So literally Mercury sitting between those negative energies of being castrated or barren, unfruitful, and then the most poisonous metal on Earth. So the AU of the gold and the TI of the thallium is Auti, which means to put on your footwear and get going, which is literally Mercury getting out of there because they don't want to be stuck in between those two energies. Don't you know she wants to beeline out of there? Enriched and large and ample, to adorn, decorate, and lay the table out, or to put on, which is also the definition for Auti, which is is bringing together the gold and the thallium to what Mercury is. Beelining out of there. They'd rather dress a table than have to deal with those kind of energies. So between gold and source of the AU and the TI, what's missing is the AU of gold, but the M and Om, because the space after the M is the TI of source. So what's missing between AU and TI is the M of Mercury, with their shoes on, ready to run, with wings on their heels, a whispered message to the divine masculine to light his flame or fan it, or could also blow it out if it's too strong. So Mercury is also aka Azoth, formerly the prince, thought to exist in all metals and extractable from them. It was the universal remedy of Paracelsus, which I was getting the parcel, like the mail, which he's a Swiss man. His name was Celsus, actually, which means high or tall or surpassing. He was the Swiss thinking man in the 16th century who was an alchemy researcher. He literally was an encyclopedist. He developed De Medicina, so literally a portion of an encyclopedia, but it was mostly medically related. And his name, he's listed as A. Corn Celsus, A. Corn Celsus, because his name was Aulus, Aulus, and then Cornelius. So A. Corn Celsus, and Celsus always reminds me of Celsius as well, so there may be some connection there, I don't know. But the acorn was coming up here too then, right? The acorn falling from the tree. And when I looked up acorns, what came up is the tannins in acorns, right? That they've known that tannins are bad for you. They interfere with metabolizing proteins. So why do they let humans eat tannins, which are in a lot of foods that we eat, which is now coming out as the reason why we all have leaky gut syndrome, because the tannins like put holes in your intestines. All right, so that came up. So this is the definition for acorn about the tannins. They've known about that for a long time, so why do they let us eat foods with tannins in them? All right, so at 11:06 is justice of alignment and the 6 of the lovers. As the sun in the sky, but also the sun as in Jesus and God, rises, the dark night rises, right, as the bat becomes the butterfly from the chrysalis, and also it's the energy of the underdog. Having the King of Cups is back as the communication of Mercury walking away from injustice, the freedom from quote-unquote the man and the societal norms and rules of the elite control system. The Knight of Wands with a passion for life, with lots of energy, a runner of sunshine, radiating far and wide, imprisoned without a home though, without union, exposing the anxiety of instability and disconnect from source within at 11:11. The King of Swords, pure and innocent heart, is vulnerable and shy to rejection of the 2 of Cups, or cries like a baby when they're purging the excess energy stores, and or missing their little lamb, and or vice versa. The goat with hot feet here perhaps borrowed their shoes from Mercury, or trying on what it feels like to walk in their shoes, reflecting with compassion how restraining or how freeing it could be as the weeping willows reach out to each other, aligning for that clarion call home, which could be the Empress reversed, calling their son, the Knight of Swords, to come home, or the mother in distress who's needing her son way down the road or at a faraway castle, who's always welcome, right? The keys under the mat, and a higher love. Or do boundaries need to be set here by the son? Is the King of Swords or the Knight of Swords rushing in every time the Empress reversed calls? The King of Pentacles may be spiritual or divorced here, or with Taurus, air sign, and or Leo in his chart, or in need of guidance, strength, courage, or good health here at 1121, which is alignment or justice of truth and balance, and the 21 of coming full circle in that world again. Or the King of Pentacles has Taurus in their chart, and the King of Swords may have Leo in their chart. They may be brothers under the Empress reverse mother or Taurus, or partners to her, taking advantage of them. With Libra and Sag here too, and perhaps the King of Pentacles may be seen as stubborn and the King of Swords seen as weak. The Carpenter bee or magician could be a Gemini or Aries female here, or one falling for or lacking faith in and standing up to the Queen of Swords, Big Bird, perhaps a Libra feminine here. Or Gemini reversed or Aries reversed may be embarrassed or feeling the need to make an excuse and defend their position to the Queen of Swords in her truth and light, destined to calmly stand on her truth as opposed to defending herself, and take time out as the High Priestess in the purple moon if needed at 11:30, which is justice and the union, and start again. Perhaps revisit the issue or change direction completely. Perhaps with Gemini reversed or in a breakup or lack of affection. Perhaps waiting for the earth to turn. I was just getting as the earth stood still. Perhaps waiting for the earth to warm up a bit. Or the earthy mother at the full pink moon tomorrow on the 16th. The Page of Wands reversed, releasing an emotional cycle, or with unhappy family at Easter celebration, with Archangel Sandalphon, who's with you now on the Fool's Journey, and that can represent Jesus as well, at conflict of the final judgment with the crucifixion today, of that crucifixion, and rising by the sun day, right? Rising by Sunday for Easter. So again, there's a lot of play between the sun in the sky and the Son of God. And the Queen of Cups, which is the Mary Magdalene energy, with direction, right? The fire under his butt to lead him in the direction he needs to go in. Or the Page of Wands reversed, with conflict with Aquarius reversed, or perhaps not listening to the Queen of Cups upright, and she may be feeling like she's out of options with the Knight of Wands, or the Sun who's inspired to travel with the Queen of Cups, but perhaps the Page of Wands, the younger one, can't make it. Or on the Fool's Journey after falling, recovering from a divide or split, or the need for clarity or coming clean about a big lie to the Knight of Pentacles, or the Knight of Wands to the Knight of Pentacles, maybe feeling for them. Water, water, water here, or the need for sand and ocean water and dolphins here. With Hermit reversed, Queen of Pentacles reversed, which can be a Virgo or someone with Virgo in their chart, who's coming out here with the Queen of Wands upright, perhaps a family party, but their children can't make it. And that was at 11:47 of justice and having options, or seeing synchronicities, or perhaps feeling confused about whether kids are coming or not, or whether to go or not. Perhaps emotional well-being and getting your wish with family circles and sunshine and water. With the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps missing her kids coming together. With the Queen of Wands upright, with a big love for conversation with their siblings, their child, or perhaps these two are soulmates, and or the Queen of Wands may be going through difficult times with a magician or Gemini, or in separation at war and becoming the magician, perhaps as Aries or Aries rising, or perhaps a Virgo. With the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords here, messages or a lot of air communication with Mercury, or a family division here, we have a really positive family gathering here, and then right next to it we have the opposite. We have a split or division here, or wound clearing being done when the family comes together, and the need to talk perhaps, which the talk is positive. The Six of Cups, soul ties or inner children that you can be authentic with, right? Those people that you know you can always just be yourself, like family. And then Thanksgiving every day here with blessings and gratitude for your options and synchronicities, and abundant universe at your fingertips perhaps. Flying free in transition here with child or inner child in need of hope in a divorce, or Aquarius reversed and Gemini reversed here. Or the Queen of Wands is bringing her kids. Perhaps she didn't think she was, or is surprised by them. Easy breezy cover girl is coming up here at 11:55 with Justice and the Truth, or a patient angel in transformation, juggling the caterpillar and the butterfly at 11:56, which is then the Two of Swords, being in your knowing and keeping your energy clear because you're still fragile, or perhaps pretending not to know so you don't have to deal with it because maybe you don't feel like you're ready to. With the Castle on a Cloud message of higher realms and magic, recovering from loss or regret, which is funny about the Castle on a Cloud coming up because my mother loved that from Les Mis. And actually I was dealing with a picture of my mom that I was going to do something with tomorrow. So there's something interesting about that. The Ten of Pentacles reversed here, but the Nine of Pentacles is upright here. So there could be family issues and dysfunction, but the Sovereign is doing great. Just because the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community may have issues or maybe dealing with a loss, doesn't mean that you need to suffer, or this could literally be someone's independence from a dysfunctional family. Message for the King of Wands, who may be out of balance or really feeling this full moon tomorrow, or a past deception, and sudden event, epiphany, or perhaps energetic or sexual exchange, or lightning struck twice here as the warrior of light and lightning, where Ning means glory and beauty, and perhaps two U's with light. The King of Wands suddenly got it. I got it, Mom. Removed the sword from the stone as I lost my voice. Someone might have made a discovery like Ben Franklin, a eureka moment. So why am I losing my voice? Maybe someone really didn't think they could do it, but they did. And maybe there's still something to clear. There's a little, little kinks to work out. But they had a eureka moment here. This is the King of Wands, who's coming up as off balance, needing to balance again. So is it coming together with the Nine of Swords, becoming one with the suffering in order, this is someone, the eureka moment, realizing you have to become one with the suffering or death to transcend it, to transcend pain and death, and the union and home. His home with the King of Wands especially is his castle, especially at this full moon. Or it could be a social gathering, which is a pain worse than death in their perspective, or is really worried about a friend or relative who may be going through radiation or chemo, where I'm losing my voice. So someone might be going through a difficult time in that respect. So rising above, or Easter rising here, and coming full circle. Again, there's pressures here about the holidays and coming to functions you may or may not believe in or want to do, but also just coming together with other things like, regular birthday parties. Because people are in town, they may be doing other things, and of course it's taxes this weekend as well. So there's a lot going on with the full moon. So again, rising above with Easter rising and coming full circle. At Easter, all is well with the world right after the rising. Or Scorpio and Pisces with the King of Wands here, perhaps keeping them company because perhaps they can't go to the party because they're ill or whatever. We have the underlying energy here of the Page of Pentacles, perhaps a daughter feeling burdened and putting perhaps stressed out or putting too much out with the Eight of Pentacles reversed, maybe stressed or overwhelmed. Could be Pisces reversed or Pisces in their chart, or a secret passion or need to connect with their intuition in order to deal with their issues for work or reaping rewards. But it's like, with Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Here it was coming up, but 7 out of 10 ain't bad at all. So 10 at 12:10, which is the Hanging Man and the Wheel of Fortune. The underlying energies were the twins untying the knots of the Page of Cups and the King of Cups, or Father and Son, or God and Jesus. And then the community or the communication, communicating freely, reflecting compassion between the Queen of Swords, Big Bird, and Archangel Sandalphon, or the Jesus energy on the Fool's Journey. And then in the second column, the Knight of Cups with a passion for life, perhaps to wake up or do the wake-up call or call the Queen of Swords and Sandalphon or Mary Magdalene and Jesus. We have the third column of the King of Swords setting boundaries to go within to be inspired in order to arc or bridge, to spread their wings and again become the butterfly, or the mother and son bridging together the rainbow connection like on the Muppet movies. And the connection, the rainbow connection, the lover, the dreamer, and me. And there you go. Rise and be love, you guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye, guys.